As you can see, we've had our eye on you for some time now, Mr. Anderson.
I don't believe for 1 second that I am the only one smart enough to pick up the Bible and figure out that we're not supposed to mourn when homosexuals die.
One of these lives has a future, and one of them does not.
So what? So what?
So let's just do a quick check. Let's make sure that none of our Bibles have been tampered with.
I just take pleasure in their death. God has darkened their heart and blinded their eyes. Look, if God darkens your heart and blinds your eyes, you can't believe. You can't believe. Washing our feet in the blood of the wicked in the New Testament. I'm starting to just realize the uncomfortable truth. Who here really struggles hard to be a homo? I mean, it's really hard. And you know what? These people are going to be burning in hell for all eternity. The victory is theirs. It's not ours. They've already won. We've already lost. It's already been written. We've already read the last chapter. And we know
I don't love God.
Welcome everybody to another edition of the Pocket Locker Podcast. I am your host with the most, all the way from the East Coast, and as always, good people, I am in airplane mode. All right, gang, let's go ahead and get the festivities started with our communion. Say hi to your neighbors. It is time to catch a vibe. Please raise your glasses and hold on to your asses. Through him, with him, in the unity of the flying man. All glory and honor is yours who fight for our sins forever and ever. You may drink. All right, gang, so good to see you all here. Let's go ahead and get into our communion song. This one comes to us from Scary Pockets. It is called You've Got a Friend in Me.
You got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead.
All right, I got Carrie Ann Chrysler first.
Your nice warm bed. You just remember what your old pal said. But you got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got troubles. Well, I got them too.
I got Liz Allen second.
I wouldn't do for you. We stick together and we'll see it through. 'Cause you
And
got
you
a
too,
friend
Punk,
in
just there.
me.
Thanks so much for being here,
Some
gang.
other folks might be a little smarter than I am, bigger and stronger too, maybe. But none of them is ever gonna love you the way I do. It's me and you. And as the years go by, our friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's my destiny. 'Cause you got a friend in me. Da-da-da, you got a friend in me. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. Ow!
That's so good. All right, gang. First thing first, we're gonna talk about. I just had an interesting clip from Niddy pop up on my feed. I guess it's actually from 5 days ago. I'm just noticing. It's called "Thinking How versus What: Changing Your Mind with Evidence." We're gonna start the show off with that. I'm sure I'll have some thoughts, and shout out to the boy Niddy. Yeah, I think Niddy has a link down there in the description. Yes, there's a link to Niddy's channel down in the description. So go ahead and give Niddy a sub if you're not already subscribed.
Hold on. So this statement right here, where Than is trying to get the application of the Duhem Quine theory to Christianic and theistic beliefs.
What? Start that over again.
Hold on. So this statement right here, where Than is trying to get the application of the Duhem Quine theory to Christianic and theistic beliefs.
Yeah, that's just too much. We're all just way too off the deep end when the Duhem Quine theistic axiology of the metaphysical realization of epistemological ontology. Like, oh, yeah, it's scary. Nobody talks this way unless you're dealing with Christian weirdos.
I like what he's trying to do here, which is, you Christians out there, you Christians who listen to goofy atheists like me or other skeptics or frustrated theists on YouTube, guess what? There's a lot here about how to think rather than what to think. Because exploring reality, in a sense here, wants you to explore reality, right? Look at what goofballs like me are saying, what Paulogia, what Dillahunty or Arn Ra, or just read Google Scholar papers on chemical synthesis, on genetic drift, on geological facts about the age of certain rock formations. Go look at the evidence for things that might contradict your theological hypotheses and compare the value that you have for each, right? And ask yourself, is this evidence enough to convince me to abandon my prior theological commitment? I don't want to just believe something because Pasta said so or because my parents believed it. That's just lazy. Or it's church tradition. That's just lazy. But then, thank the God I don't believe in, is like, no. Go ahead, Christian. Take in new information. Take in new evidence. It's okay to do a little bit of belief revision. Come along with me on the ride.
But Christians, let me just be honest with you. It's not. I kind of like this because it's like the okie doke, but this is what I mean when I say there's no such thing as no such thing as an honest way to defend something that isn't true. So to me, this is like a very false sense of confidence, but it's what we need. Like we really do need believers to open their minds, take in new information, and go ahead, just walk in believing. It's just going to strengthen your faith because if God is true, then there's nothing wrong with questioning it. But yeah, there's a reason. There's a reason ministries try to keep believers super sheltered. Now, what can happen, though, is people do a lot of that accommodation, right? They take in the new information, let's say it's scientific, and then they just kind of roll that into their God did it burrito explanation of life.
Some new place where Christianity is adaptive to a newer understanding of reality, which I'm in full support of, right? Let's tell more Christians how to think. Or teach them how to think, than what to think. Because with Christian Apologetics YouTube, I think it can crack open that door a little bit, especially with a video like this, where it hopefully forces believers who listen to it to go look into epistemology and ontology and all that stuff.
Yeah, and then they're screwed.
Rather than just being a Christian channel that's like, we know that the Holy Spirit is with us at all times. You shouldn't question God because doubting is from the devil. Good night.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. And honestly, like this is what I mean by it's kind of a character test. When somebody tells me they're an atheist and a former, a former Christian, I think they were a better Christian. Because I think they were out to really seek the truth and out to do what was moral and just, and ultimately those things led you to leave Christianity. Whereas people who make it to a certain stage in life and they're still a Christian, I just kind of go, you can't be taking all this shit seriously. But a lot of it is just, it is really the way people are raised. Like, some people are literally conditioned from the time they're soft in the head not to question these things. But more and more, it's just totally untenable. It's outright ridiculous because it makes people childish, just absolutely fucking childish. So yeah, Christians, it's time to step up to the plate, man. Look into these issues, ask the big questions, see where the evidence might lead you. Yeah, good shit, Niddy. Make sure you guys are subbed. Niddy does lives and videos and shorts and community posts and all good shit. Also does our dance parties here on Friday nights. And has been doing, videos about leaving the cult that he was in and, following what's been going on with them since. It's all really fascinating stuff. All right, gang, let's jump into the main event of the evening. Tonight, we're going to be dealing with Girl Defined, who is like a conservative, apologetic-y fucktard as far as I know. Apparently they've had a rebrand and it's a problem. But the channel we're going to be getting this from is called Tara Mooney. I'm fucking it up. I probably fucked it up. So there's a link down in the description. Y'all know what to do. Sub to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, all of that good stuff. Let's take off on this.
POV, it's the year 2018. You're browsing your YouTube For You page,
it's my general
every
reaction.
channel under the sun has dropped a new video with two Aryan ladies in the thumbnail with text overlaid saying, they're waiting until marriage to kiss? And you're like, what? And they're like, yeah, look at this.
Yes, I have not kissed Dave. We are saving our first kiss for when we are husband and wife, and that may be so weird to some of y'all. You might be like, I've never heard of that.
Then you stop.
Gang, let's just talk about how fucking toxic this shit is. I have found myself in situations with these never been kissed people. Christians, go ahead, knock yourself out and just save it all for marriage. Oh my goodness, I can't. Dating somebody like this is terrible. It's terrible. It's just fucking terrible. It's terrible to deny your humanity for this goddamn fairy tale. Christians, y'all need to grow the fuck up. They are just really into this purity culture bullshit. Like, can you imagine telling a woman you're about to dip, dive, and socialize because she's kissed someone before? Like, yeah, I just speak in terms of who I date. But gang, like what type of fucking nonsense is this? This is crazy. This is just
Started to
absolutely crazy.
wonder
People
if
do this
maybe
shit. Don't
we're
think it's a
clowning on
joke,
these
gang.
ladies
People,
a bit too
somebody's
much.
done
They're
this is
dorky,
terrible.
but seem harmless and just indoctrinated by their upbringing, which isn't their fault. Oh, they're homophobic. Never mind. Clown on.
Jesus Christ, shut up. What is going on? What's you guys doing?
You're not gonna give into the delusion. This is not gonna help all of the major mental breakdowns that are going on in our world and suicide. Like, this is not helping it by affirming that one, men can be women, or two, men should dress up like women. And
Oh no, no. Are we? Is tell me the rebranding isn't fucking anti-trans? Oh no. I mean, obviously, I expect this person to be a complete fuckface bigot, but you know, why not just stay in your lane of talking about the virtues of the hardcore, never been kissed lifestyle and how dope it is to be straight edge, and you know how you could get so much higher on Jesus, like the stupid shit you normally be saying. Why not just stick with that?
put on fake breasts that are way oversized, massive rears, you know, like wear very skimpy clothing and dance around and twerk and do all this stuff.
And nobody listen to this shit. Listen, as a fan of titties, there's not enough titties in the world. Women, go ahead and get you some titties, all right? Cis women, trans women, somewhere in between, haven't figured it out, but want to try on some titties for a while. If you got the money and a respectable surgeon and, you know, enough support or whatever in your life, please do not listen to these raggedy bitches here. Please get yourself some titties. We are, you know what, we about to put this shit in the chat. We just gonna put it in the chat. Hashtag more titties. Y'all probably can't type that in the chat. Y'all type that in the chat, the bot will probably fuck your shit up. But look, I'm here to be unashamedly pro-breast, okay?
Like, this is insane. No wonder we have problems.
How to
Yeah.
be single and satisfied at the same time.
Oh,
Look at
gross.
this description in the third
Yes.
person. Bethany
Gross.
understands what it's like to have an unmet desire. As a single girl herself, she says there are only two ways to handle your desire for marriage. Will you choose the road towards sorrow or satisfaction? Wow, Bethany,
Right.
for someone who says it's sinful to hit it before marriage, you sure like to hit the mic.
Because she's to be 6.
Then as you're watching
Damn.
Bethany whack the mic, this is a long POV, bear with, the blast in your AirPods gives you such a fright you drop your phone in the toilet, and on the way to fishing it out, you bash your head onto the toilet lid and fall into a 5-year coma. Ouchie! As you awake, you hear your mother wail tears of joy and your student loans company cheer with exhilaration. And after a few coughs of finally opening your eyes, you scream out, "How was the kiss?" And your mum says, "What kiss?" And you're like, "Bethany's." And she's like, "Who's Bethany?" And then you rip off all your medical cables and run to your nearest internet cafe to find out if she finally got kissed. And you discover that not only has she finally been kissed, she's kind of become a sex influencer? What? Well, emphasis on the kinda. It's not enough to kill a Victorian child, but it is rather surprising. I'll fill you in on the context in just a second. Let me quickly introduce myself.
Gang, I'm afraid. Someone needs to be here to hold my hand. Are we about to venture into the land of Christians pretending to be pro-sex and like the Jesus sex life is the greatest sex that there is? Because I am genuinely terrified that that's where we're going. This is I don't want to do this.
My name is
That's
Tara
bad.
Mooney, and this is the only channel on YouTube where all videos are written and produced by a cat. What is that? Can you hear that? Right in front of my couscous. I wish you could unsee things. Bethy, you owe me money for making me watch that. Pay me! On a serious note, since today's video is about the dangers of repressing sexual education, I am thrilled to announce that today's video is sponsored by Intermina, a brand whose mission is to destigmatize all things gynecological. They create period products,
we still
personal
stigmatize
massage,
all
restricting
things
through pelvic
capitalism
muscles during labor.
because
In their
we
nice
don't
one
like
about 39 women
capitalism.
to just
Because the
and
blase
using this
and the
valid controls about
flavonoids.
your intimate
Listen,
health.
when
And
whoever needs Intermina, that's where you're gonna go. Boom. Are you
guidance,
happy?
click
Are you
below
happy? I
and
said it.
over.
Intermina. Look, I did it. Now can we end this goddamn capitalism? The gang, the only reason I said it was because it was all pro-sexy and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like I want to skip it, but I want to encourage the pro-sexiness at the same time.
well, a lot. There's a lot of tea. From observing their content, there appears to have been a shift. Whereas before, their naivete beamed through white lights.
5 tips for overcoming crazy girl emotions. Now, we come from a family with 5 girls, and all of our pets are girls too. So we've got
Females galore.
females and a lot of emotions. And we kind of understand these crazy
Exactly, Randy.
girl emotions, where one minute it's like, oh, everything's great, and the next minute, like, bawling. You know, with a lot of girls, that's a lot of emotions to balance. I remember
All right, let's just, we have emotions. This shit happens to all of us. Just everything about this, their whole, everything is wrong. All of this is, this is problematic.
actually seeing this picture one time, and it was emojis, you know, like the little smiling emojis, and it said a woman's day, and it was all these emojis from like happy to crying to happy to sad, you know, and it was just absolutely hilarious. And then it said a man's day, and it
So
was just
demeaning.
Whereas now, they acknowledge
So
the world
misogynistic.
outside of their
Is that
ultra-conservative
misogynistic?
bubble, and they don't like
Misogyny?
it. Most importantly,
It's a
though,
misogyny.
Bethy has got married and had sex, and she wants
Oh,
everyone
fuck
to know
no,
about
it's
it.
the worst. No, oh, gross. No. Oh, Christian kink is the worst. Oh, totally oversharing. No.
That's the main thing we'll be
disgusting.
focusing on today. I mean, not
Oh
that
my goodness.
she's had sex, but more her messaging around sexuality. Basically, her influence. She's become a sex coach. Not in the license sense,
Oh
but
my
in the
goodness.
I'm going to
Cringy
overshare on Instagram
sense.
until your eyes bleed sense.
Yeah, that's
Quite the
kind of the
rebrand,
vibes I
eh?
was getting.
Or is
Gross.
it? You know, if you want more background on what's been going on with the Chugi girls, it would be really handy to have a YouTube channel.
All right,
that
pause the tape. We're just gonna get in because I just want to rant already, gang. I'm already pissed. All right, Christians, go fuck yourselves. Your sex lives suck, and all of you are bad in bed. Okay, what you deal with is you just repress your sexuality. Then you wait for the fucking blessings from on high, from Magic Sky Daddy, to give his fucking authorization for you to fucking get your boom boom on with the person you've decided to spend the rest of your life with. Like, that was a fucking rough choice. All right. And now y'all are just out here acting brand new. Like, what? Like, the rest of us don't know how good sex feels, and then it really just feeds into their fucking authoritarian fascist bullshit of only heterosexually married Christian couples are really authorized to have guilt-free, shame-free, fucking freaky deaky and not feel bad about it. That's what this is really all about. It's really about be a fucking Christian, wait till marriage. What, bitch? What? I said wait till fucking marriage. And you were out here giving blowies, getting finger banged, doing jerky stuff, fingery stuff, huh? Tongue kissing boys under the bleachers. That doesn't count. Save yourself means never been kissed, gang. I am trying to tell you, I was dating a person who I kissed them on the cheek, trying to be sweet and like cute and stuff. And they lost their goddamn mind. They lost their goddamn fucking mind because I was supposed to realize that waiting for marriage meant nothing. Nothing. Okay? Christians, go fuck yourself. Your sex lives are dog shit. I'm gonna put it to you. I'm gonna break it down for you like I break it down for everybody else when it comes to this, gang. How the fuck do you learn how to play drums? You read some books on that shit. You take some motherfucking lessons. And you watch professional drummers. And you use all of that shit to take your monkey ass, get 2 fucking sticks, sit down behind your drums, and start playing and working that shit out. Okay? How do you become a fucking lawyer? Your motherfucking ass has to go to college, then you gotta go to fucking law school, then you gotta take some fucking special ass exam, then you're gonna be somebody's fucking clerk or their paralegal or their goddamn assistant, and so you can sit your monkey ass up there and do what? Watch how the professionals do it. Gang, that is how we gain skills in life. We take in information, we take in inspiration, we watch the motherfucking professionals, and then we get some goddamn practice. Christians, stop it with this bullshit. Like you think your ass is gonna go from never been kissed to lost my virginity on my honeymoon to what? 2 weeks later, your monkey ass is gonna be on Instagram telling us, the rest of us, how to do sex right? No. Most of us have an entire history, literally our entire adult lives, and a good portion of our fucking teenage lives, we were fucking sexually active, and when we were not sexually active, we were at home doing what? We were reading about sex, we were reading books about sex, we were reading magazines about sex, and we were watching the goddamn pornography. Why? Because we were watching the professionals. And we put all that shit together, and we have been getting our stroke practice on ever since. Christians, shut the fuck up. Grow the fuck up. Y'all are never gonna be the sex experts in the room. Y'all are in the remedial class. Don't stop, Christian, shut the fuck up. Don't be out here acting brand new before we school y'all. Y'all can't teach us shit about sex.
Focuses solely on creating deep dives about fundamentalist Christians. You know, on a Friday. So I have the most special of guests. Someone who has a PhD in Girl Defined. And that is my friend Jen of Fundy Fridays. Oh,
hello. Hey. How's the cow? I haven't even asked you.
Oh, she's great. Sorry she couldn't be here today. She's actually, funnily enough, at church.
Hey.
Not because she's religious, but because she likes to get the free wafers.
Yes, that's on brand for her.
She loves free stuff. Free
yeah,
wine.
absolutely, Randy. Like the fact that when you wait till marriage, you don't know if you're sexually compatible about somebody with that shit. Yeah, I had a Jesus wife. I made that mistake. We'll say that story for another day.
Sit down, get it?
Why did she?
But exactly.
But absolutely, it's a bad idea.
Cheese, probably.
I don't judge.
Speaking of judging.
Hey, I think there's a Bible verse about that, actually. Maybe we'll bring that up later.
And we seem to, know about that. But, Jen, you've made
Did you get timed out for saying sex? I don't know if sex is on the list of words you can't say.
Obviously, it's a lot to cover, but just in summary, tell me about the evolution of Girl Defined in the past few years since you've been covering them.
So Girl Defined is a two-sister team, Kristen and Bethany. For the Snarkers, which is the community I come from, we call her Bethy because she wants to be called that. We always respect pronouns and preferred names.
Unlike her.
They started the Girl Defined YouTube channel. Specifically, it was like for telling young Christian women how to navigate God's plan for biblical femininity. Made all kinds of books, podcasts, like that was their whole thing, was about, well, purity culture and modesty. And it was really funny because for the longest time, Bethy, who would have been 30 when she got married, hey, me too, her whole thing was about being a single, living your single life, remaining
single girl, 30-year-old girl.
I'm just a young teenage 25-year-old girl. You know.
Yeah, she would always call herself a girl, and I was like, you're a woman.
Well, it's because of the culture they're raised in, right? You're
Yeah.
not really an adult until you're married. So the purity culture, it was like what you expected, but it got really egregious. Like they had this concept called a mind virgin. They didn't invent this, but like even like keeping your thoughts pure is like important because you don't want to have anything. There's also, I mean,
A
Jesus said this,
mind
but if you lust
virgin?
after a woman in your heart, you're basically cheating. So I could see, you know, what they're going for. And they have a huge family. They're quiverful, and some of the sisters are on the channel, and that's what I talk about on my channel is all the various misadventures of the sisters. The whole family's transphobic. There's like even some like draft dodging going on with one of the sisters' husbands and the Ukraine war. Like when I tell you this is like so complicated,
shit.
it's more than just these two blondes being judgmental. Like there's a whole international thing wrapped up in this. Their grandpa was a Nazi mayor. He's got a Wikipedia page about him and everything. Remember that next time you think girl defined as wholesome.
I'm aware that it isn't their fault who their family are, but it just seems strange that they lean into it. Like, why draw attention to it? Or if you're going to, maybe don't in a cutesy, celebratory way. Anywho.
Because, gang, this is what Christianity is. Christianity is all about whitewashing bigotry and evil. Like, and I'm sorry, but that's just how I see it. And what happens is people get hooked on the social privilege. They get hooked on the warm and fuzzies of the identity and their faith being celebrated by their family and you know, basically all the pats on the back that they get for it. But it's just gross and awful, and we've just got to face the ugliness, gang. Matter of fact, I'm there's a lot of y'all know I'm a misotheist, which means hatred of God. But I'm leaning more and more into like meso Christianity, which is like the hatred of Christianity. Like I think more and more that like I am angry at all the people who like enable Christianity by like pretending it's cool for other people to be Christians. Like I just think it's like we got to stop that. Like it's a tactic. Like let's stop using tactics. Tactics are gross, right? Tactics is like reminds me of pickup artists. Y'all know me. I'm like the anti-pickup. I like learned all that shit, and I think it's terrible. You should not be a pickup artist, and you should not use tactics, and you should not pretend that it's like okay for people to be Christians. It's like gross and disgusting, and it makes them talk like girl defined, and it gives me the heebie-jeebies. And I don't know, y'all. Let's just be fucking angry.
Back to Bethy.
Bethy has been on this. She's really into courses.
I'm coming in hot with 5 things that women do not want anymore.
She has
Hey,
this like,
Lena.
business called She Works Smart. And in this business is teaching other people how to make courses that you sell. So it's like an MLM, but like you don't get anything.
For someone who says women don't want to be boss babes, Bethy is doing an incredibly accurate impression of a boss babe.
Wow.
Jen, do you follow them on Instagram?
If I could, I would.
Don't have sex, save sex for marriage. Wait. That's the message many of us heard.
Again, it's really funny. Like it's a grift. Like she's literally embracing and celebrating her griftiness with her audience that she's grifting, and it's real gross. But I don't know what to do, right? Because this is just like Christian microeconomy. Like I don't know. Like this is what people want, right? Like this is the marketplace of ideas. Like conservative ass people want to send their money to conservative ass people to, I don't know, bullhorn conservative social messaging. It's kind of disgusting.
Up and then we get married.
Way to
and we're
match your
like,
eyes on your shirt, though.
Okay, so is this what I waited all this time for?
Dress,
Sex
whatever
can
that
be
is.
So difficult and beautiful and challenging and confusing all at the same time. And many of us just feel like, where do I go for answers? Like, where do I actually go for help? Unfortunately, in the Christian community especially, there has been like a lot of silence around this issue, especially with women. And so a lot of married women feel like sex is more of a duty rather than a delight and something that they really look forward to. And especially when it comes to like the childbearing years and having young kids, it's like sex just seems like an extra burden rather than something that energizes and that you look forward to. And I want to change all of this. I want to help us as Christian women enjoy, delight, get excited about sex. And that's why I've created the ultimate sex course for Christian women.
Oh, the fuck out of here. Again, Christians, you have nothing. And I do mean nothing to teach the rest of us about sex. Yeah, do a course, because I guess, you know what? I take that back. Like I said, the rest of us. But I guess other never been kissed virgins, you can like show them positions, or I don't know, talk about contraception. Like I don't. What do you want to do? Have a like what? That's your audience. That's their audience. There's just. Can y'all imagine why do I want to see what's in this book now? Why do I want to see what her masterclass has to say just to make fun of it? I feel like that's a wellspring of content right there. Unfortunately, I'm broke, and spending money on Girl Defined just feels like immoral. It feels immoral. Like it feels like I should just order pizza and wine and like drown my sorrows in bad decisions, but like stop short of buying Girl Define's masterclass. But I do want to know what's in there. I do. You want to know why, gang? Because I'm a terrible person. But at least I admit my hypocrisy on air. I'm not a role model. At the end of the day, I like junk food and exposing myself to radical right-wingers just to feel superior to people. That's what it is. It helps me feel like even though my life is hard, at least I'm not a right-wing fucktard. It is what it is, gang. It is what it is. I'm not proud of myself, but I hate these people, so I'm kind of proud of how much I hate them. Let's just roll the tape.
She's so close to getting it. She acknowledges that Christian women get to marriage and they find sex really difficult because of the way they were brought up. But she doesn't suggest changing the way they were brought up.
Do not criticize the Bible. Do not criticize the church. I see where she's coming from, because I always hear from deconstructioners about this, and she's hearing from the still Christian side of it. But yeah, there's the patriarchal nature of fundamentalism, yes, does lead to women thinking that it's a chore, that it is their duty, that they have to. I mean, even Michelle Duggar said, any woman can make your man a sandwich, but you're the only one who can satisfy him. And if she's saying that, then that means that that's a representation of what a lot of them think. And then, of course, you have just...
Say that shit again?
Michelle Duggar said, anyone
can make your iron Jim Bob shirt. Anybody can make lunch for him. He can get his lunch somewhere else. But you were the only one who can meet that special need that he has in his life for intimacy. You're it. You're the only one. Woo! Christians. Do I have some fucking news for you? Oh, Christians. Wow. That was so good. Y'all think you're the only one that can do that? Christians, let me tell you something I've learned in dating. There are far more women capable of satisfying your man's sexual needs than making him a goddamn sandwich. It doesn't matter what your sexual orientation, preferences, identity, none of that shit. We have all dated some people who do not know their way around a kitchen, but they sure as hell knew their way around the bedroom. Okay? You're the only one who can... Y'all have a lot of very special beliefs. Let me just put it to you that way. That's a very, very special story. Wow.
Can make your man a sandwich, but you're the only one who can satisfy him. And
The
if
only
she's
one who
saying
can
that, then
satisfy
that means
him.
that's a representation of what a lot of
Bitch, have you met his secretary? The person, you know, the worship leader he's always talking about, the head of his Sunday school, his physical. But let me tell you about how many other women go through his mind over the course of a given day that could satisfy that special need. Pretty much all the attractive women he ever sees throughout the day. Like just Christians, y'all gonna have to build your marriage on something a little better than that. Y'all gonna have to give each other. This is what I'm talking about, y'all. This is what happens. This is the type of stupid shit you say when you really believe in that never been kissed, save yourself for marriage, purity bullshit. You just have all types of weird thoughts in your head after that. This just fucks you up.
And then, of course, you have just regular ass sexist society thrown on top of that. You know, boomer hate wife. That's already going to make it worse. And then, yeah, like a lot of, especially women, when they come out of this puritanical and fundamentalist cultures, like they have vaginismus, they have all kinds of pain. And even if, bless their hearts, even if their husband is like trying his best, if you don't know, you don't know. And I see what she's trying to get at, but at the same time, she's like still saying there is a right and wrong way to do sex. And so you must never ever go to like Dr. Ruth or go on Wikipedia.
That hotel Bible, that Gideon's Bible.
And there's the issue. Well, one of many issues with Girl Defines ideology. Women who grew up in purity culture are expected to just do a 180 as soon as they get married. To go from pure, untouched beings, repressing any sexual desires, all the way to having at it.
You know what? Once you get married, you can have at it, but beforehand, like, be cautious, be careful, think through.
And Christians, where did y'all learn to have at it? Like that's what's so funny. It's like y'all be telling on y'all real selves because aren't y'all supposed to be clueless? Like y'all supposed to be like, well, where does I don't know. Like, do I stick my tongue out of my mouth? Do I keep it in my mouth? Like, how does this work? Like, I don't what's a G spot? Where's that? Do females even have orgasms? You know what I'm saying? Like, this the type of shit really never been kissed. This how it would really be if you were homeschooled, never been kissed, virgins. Like supposedly that's what the church wants y'all to be. It's funny how the expectation is like you've never masturbated, you never made out with your boyfriend, like I said, you never did a little sucky, fucky. You ain't do none of that. But all of a sudden on your marriage night, you magically morph into Jenna Jameson up in this bitch. All of a sudden you like Riley Reid and you making it clap and making it pop and you all know the positions and all of a sudden y'all have the most stellar fucking sex life. All of a sudden you go from fucking never been kissed to we literally need to take your master class on how to shake that ass. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Christians, this does not make any fucking sense at all. The rest of us already know. You read, you get educated, you read some books, you read some magazines, you hit up them pornographies, not because you're a pervert, but yes, I love it because I'm a pervert, but because that is how you watch the professionals. And you'd be like, oh, so you put that leg over this way and that other leg over that way, and then you kind of stroke it up in here like that. Oh, I'm going to definitely try that one next time. Oh, what is that? Like the helicopter, the reverse helicopter? I never really seen the reverse helicopter. Baby, I seen this shit the other day. It's called the reverse helicopter, girl. I'm about to tear that ass up. That is how you learn about sex. Girl defined fucking Christian masterclass on erotica. Get the fuck out of here, Christians.
What do I not want to regret once I'm married?
It's like that TD Jakes satin sheets bullshit.
Through it and choose to honor one another.
If you're told that sex is dirty and sinful your whole life, signing some paperwork isn't magically gonna switch off a lifetime of programming. And then when you are married, you should still only go to a specifically curated source
old school,
of
new
Christian
school.
influencers
I'm not gonna sit here and start
for your
naming porn stars. Y'all gonna
and
realize
they must never challenge
y'all
the
gonna be like, he knows way too many porn stars. Let me just put it to you this way. I'll put it to you this way. Every time Uncle Bobby drops a porn star name on his channel and he goes, shut the fuck up, you know who this is. I literally think to myself, yeah, Uncle Bobby, that's the basic shit. Uncle Bobby be dropping the name of like the super famous porn stars. Like he ain't even dropping the names of the real ones that the real porno fans know. You know what I'm saying? That's me. I'd be disappointed. I'd be like, that's kind of amateur. I want like a challenge. Like I want somebody to challenge me. Name somebody a little off the beaten path, and I'm you know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at. Gang, I watch way too much porn, but like not enough. Like, why do I stay up all night? I could, like, right now. Like, I don't have to be doing this fucking stream. Like, I'm not getting paid for this. I could be stroking it right the fuck now. I could just be going through all types of sites and watching all types of booties and flavias and glavias and all types of positions and money shots and all that. But I'm here reviewing a review of Girl Defined, who came out with the Christian masterclass on sex. I thoroughly need to re-examine my life choices.
Sex is only okay in Christian marriage.
You're not going to post any more awkward reels talking about marriage and sex, are you?
Yes, I am.
I'm not going to stop. If Christians don't talk about a biblical perspective on marriage and sex, who will? I think we're doing Christian women a major disservice by being so silent on the topic of sex. It's not helpful to be so silent. That leaves Christian women turning to the internet for help, and that's a disaster. Single women need to gain a biblical and practical understanding of intimacy. Married women need to know who they can turn to for help and answers when they need it. Let's not pretend that the world isn't shoving their perspective of sex in our faces 24/7. If we don't intentionally seek out truth, we will buy into the loudest message out there. Also, sexual struggles are really common within Christian community. Women struggle with addictions like masturbation and pornography. When the church is silent on these issues, it only adds to the guilt and shame Christian women already feel. We need to be a community that welcomes repentance and offers help and direction. I won't be silent on this topic because there is already enough silence. Like it or not, I will continue to speak up.
And if you see the actual professionals that Bethy interviews, you might as well, I don't know, I'd rather talk to the cow about sex than these people.
Forgive me, Bethy, if I take your advice with the tiniest pinch of salt. Speaking of, there's a great BuzzFeed article all about Bethy's rebrand, and the opening paragraph alone is gold. A blonde woman opens her mouth and looks up at her equally blonde husband. He sprays a tall swirl of whipped cream into her mouth and sprinkles chocolate chips on top. He takes a bite of the creamy concoction and the couple perform a brief, out-of-sync dance break to Taylor Swift's Ready For It before sharing a closed-mouth kiss. They really are that couple in high school who just made everyone else so uncomfortable with their PDA. Bethy.
And gang, I'm gonna be in trouble. I'm gonna be honest. I got in a lot of trouble in high school for PDA. Like it's like this is how it was. The rules were very strict in my school. I'm gonna put it to you like that. But Christian, this is the problem. You have repressed your sexuality for so long that you have no social barometer for the level at which none of us give a fuck and want to hear about your sex life. See, what happens is you repress your sex life your entire life, right? And then you get married to the one person, and then finally a kiss, and now you're being touched. And then finally you fucking learn how to splooge all over yourself because you've bought into this bullshit about, only sanctified sex is permissible. And now you literally are acting brand new and want to dude, the rest of us fuck. We know how good it is to fuck. We know how fun it is to make out with somebody we're attracted to. You are simply telling us shit that we don't need to know. This is just too much information. When we go out on a double date, you know, look, let's just pretend there are people, let's pretend I'm dating, all right? Pretend that I actually spend time with other human beings in person. Just fake it till we make it, gang. And that I decide to go out with another couple, and we're also gonna have to pretend that I have friends in person who would also go out with me that are in a relationship. But now that we've imagined me having a social life of 3 people, imagine we're on this double date. There is not gonna come a time during the conversation where we start going back and forth about the fucking wonders of our fucking sex lives. That would be fucking weird. You're supposed to talk about fucking what you're gonna eat, what's going on at work, what the fuck is up with your lives, how's your new place, you know, do you still go to the park with your puppy? Anything other than your sex life. That is like describing your fucking bowel movements, or describing, like, I don't know, like the growth of your toenails. Like there is shit that you are not supposed to talk to other human beings about, because we're just under that assumption. When you go out with another couple, you assume they're together, you assume they're fucking, you assume if the fucking wasn't that great, they'd be fucking somebody else. Like we really don't need y'all to just fucking tell us about the joys and wonders of sex, and especially not on your goddamn social media. Bitch, don't you know your parents are looking at that? Like, what is wrong with y'all? Like, this is repression has consequences, and these are the consequences.
He directly responds to it in a video on the channel in her car. You ready, Jen?
Yeah.
So there was I don't know what you call it, an article, something that came
What's
out
up,
on
Paul?
BuzzFeed.
I don't know what you call it.
What's that long
It's
form?
like Caveman teaching
writing
us about
style?
fire.
So Bethany, you're not unintelligent. Why are you saying that?
It's
She's like
perfect,
me. She
yeah.
likes to speak casually.
Yeah, we're down with the kids. What's those things? Articles?
Oh my god, that reminds me. In her interview with Dave, he's like, "Oh yeah, you act a little too young."
I remember you talking about other girls that were my age, and he would talk about how old they
How
were.
old they were. Oh,
And I was like,
Yeah, it's so
There's
gross.
no hope for
It's
me.
so gross.
You played your age down a lot. You kind of like acted young.
And they lump any influencer, any ministry that talks about God's design for sex and, you know, waiting to enjoy it within the covenant of marriage as like the worst parts. They kind of talk about it like the worst parts of purity culture are true for them too.
I'd like to remind you that Girl Defined promoted the concept of being a mind virgin. Yes, a mind
A
virgin.
mind
which
virgin.
in short,
Christians, grow the fuck up. There is no such thing as sin. But again, y'all are really on that thought policing bullshit. Be a mind virgin. Gang, it is not enough to not get your freak on. And please believe we have been getting our freak on. I feel like I have been totally sexually repressed by Christianity. And the truth is, I will never get over that sexual repression from Christianity because it happened to me while I was still soft in the head. So it's very difficult to outgrow the things that get embedded in your brain when your brain's not even fucking fully formed yet. So my sex life will always be fucked up because of Christianity. Nevertheless, gang, oh, please believe when your boy gets a sweet smell of the trim, your boy is knocking the fucking boots like most of us have. But Christians, not only for them is it not enough to not get your freak on, you have to never have been kissed. You are not supposed to be masturbating, because remember, masturbation is really just sex with yourself. So wrong, that's out, okay? And not only that, gang, thought crimes. You need to remain a thought virgin. You should not be fantasizing about Ryan Gosling during that movement. You should not be fantasizing about Dwayne The Rock Johnson when you're watching fucking Fast and the Furious. You should not be fucking fantasizing about Uncle Bobby when you're watching Gin and Truth on YouTube. Gang, how do you live in that world? I don't understand. Like, let's just assume that Girl Defines messages is for girls who are attracted to men. Even as a heterosexual man who's not sexually attracted to fucking men, I don't understand understand that shit because you know, like I'm gonna go ahead and just admit that even as a boring ass straight guy, like I've had some fucking thoughts about what it would be like to be sexual with another man. They usually, I think I'm straight because they always stop short of me actually thinking that shit sounds fucking enjoyable. Usually fucking grosses me out. But I'm not. But I can think about it. Like there's no crime for thinking about it. Am I like not a thought virgin? And I have to confess, I've had homosexual thoughts before. Like, what the Christians, go fuck yourselves. You guys are so weird.
Is the idea that you must regulate your lustful thoughts, i.e. repress them. So yes, Bethy, the most conservative parts of the movement include you and the other one, Kristen. That's it.
A lot of people who grew up kind of in that purity culture era with a box to live in, a lot of rules to follow, find themselves in marriage and are still looking for that box to live in and that list of rules to follow. And we actually talk a lot about this. We're going to in the Ultimate Sex Course for Christian women. So if you are dating or married, I think you will find a lot of freedom in your marriage and just a lot of excitement through this course. So if you haven't registered, the link is in my bio because we talk a lot about why so many of us are prone to wanting to live within this system of rules. Okay, so here's an example.
Fuck this shit. Fuck this shit. Let's destroy this course right now. Christians, here's what you need to realize, Christians. You're obsessed with sex. Like, literally, you guys are more obsessed with sex than fucking anybody. But don't buy her course, gang. Christians, there's this stuff out there called pornography. All you gotta do is watch Christians, here's some free pornography sites for you. There's Thought Hub, we got xnxx.com, ePorner, goodporn.to, Spank Bang, RedTube, Pornhub, Shoosh Time, Make Fuck, Voyeur, Hit, Porn Star Addict, I could keep going. Christians, that's a good start. All right. Just hit up some of that free porn, Christians, and you know, have at it. I am sure. Listen. I'm now that you're all ready to have the big kid talk. Let me tell you how most of us do this. We don't make any major decisions before we rub one out. So if you are really thinking about taking this fucking masterclass, what you need to do is you need to hit up some of that free pornography. You need to splooge all over yourself and then decide if you still want to hear this raggedy ass Christian bitch talk about fucking sexuality.
Christian women specifically often ask, like, is this okay within marriage? Or is this toy okay? Or is this position okay? Like, for example, I get DMs all the time of people telling me, like, I can't believe you would link to that blog post, or I can't believe that you recommend that person. Do you know that they're okay with, like, this position, or they're okay with people using that tool? And then they'll say something like, I don't think God would be honored by that. And so it's just this whole idea that we're still taking this, like, arbitrary list of rules into our marriage and basically saying, like, this is what makes a godly marriage and this is not. Like, there's this whole idea that, you know, like, there are certain positions in marriage that are the really godly ones, and then there are other ones like they're not so godly. But if you stop and think about it, it's like, where are we pulling that from? Who's telling us that?
You, girl. You have a platform and you are a resource for young women and girls, and for some of these people you're their only resource because they're only allowed to go to Christians, conservative Christians even. That's why I'm making this video, by the way. I know that if you're outside of this world it might seem extreme and niche and a bit like, why are you talking about these people? But it's important to remember that when you're in it, when you grow up in it, or if you're converted later on, it is all-consuming and creates severe psychological and physical damage. And you, Bethy, have the audacity to do a shocked Pikachu face. You contributed, and still do, to purity culture. Now, you might be thinking, hey Tara, aren't you being a bit harsh? People, Stephen Crowder excluded, can change their minds. So A, they're really transphobic, so no, I don't really care. B, my issue with Bethy's rebrand is that it has this veneer of self-awareness, but lacks any sort of accountability.
Here's one of the biggest ways that I see purity culture impacting marriages today. For those of us who grew up in the era of purity culture, we're so used to having a list of do's and don'ts, right or wrongs, down to like literally the amount of inches you should be apart from people of the opposite sex. We just had like a lot of rules, a lot of guidelines during that time of our life. This is something I actually have found myself personally struggling with over the years, and have recently found a lot of freedom in this area thanks to a lot of the speakers that I have on in the Ultimate Sex Course for Christian Women. Here's the
Gang, this is just pickup artistry. This is literally exactly how pickup artists market their programs to their marks. Like, oh, I'm going to tell you all about how I revolutionized my sex life. All you have to do is sign up for my course. It's $69.99, more like $699.99. But anyway, like, it's also just so, like you're saying, like, there's no accountability because this person literally was promoting that, and that's the real solution for them, right? She's not really against purity culture. She really just thinks she got her way out of purity culture because, again, now she's married, and so her sexuality is authorized by the man upstairs, which is stupid. This is absolutely dumb. She's not really critiquing purity culture. And then talking about those of us who came up in the time of purity culture. Bitch, you are the purity culture of those coming up right now. It's really cringe.
the deal though. Like, yes, God has some specific things that he has laid out in scripture. Like, marriage is between a man and a woman, and it's a covenant, and we should
bullshit. Okay, right. And this is why we can't tolerate Christianity, because they're always gonna stick to this dog whistling family values that is anti-LGBTQ. It's Pride Month. We just should not be having it. No. I'm gonna try to just keep saying this. It's important that we say this a lot during Pride Month. Bigotry against the queer community alone is enough reason to leave Christianity. And if I want to keep it real, it doesn't even have to be about for a man to lay with man is an abomination and they both shall be put to death. That's pretty fucked up. But even he created them male and female. Wrong. Oh, marriage is between a man and a woman. Wrong. Like, we should not be okay assigning anyone second-class citizenship. And Christianity is just bigotry. And there's just... Most of us would not say this. Hang on, gang. I'll be right back. I have a delivery here.
include other people within our marriage. It's just between the husband and the wife. But outside of that, like, we have the Book of Song of Solomon, which is really spicy, but God kind of leaves it open to us and to each couple to decide what's best for them. So instead of looking to other people to tell us what's okay in our own marriages, I think we just need to talk to our spouse and figure out, like, is this something we want or not?
Bethany, what about the books you wrote? Do you think you contributed in any way? Is there any repentance to be done? I'm actually very much still on board with my books and what's written in them. If you found something in them you think is unhelpful, please send it my way. I keep asking for people making these accusations to send me the places in my book where I've contributed to purity culture, and not a single person has sent me anything. Yeah, I guess other people have to do the work for you, Bethy. How about the whole thing, Bethy? Totally. I think one example is you referring to us as sexually broken. Do you still stand by that? Yes! We learned that phrase and concept from Authentic Intimacy and really love it.
Like to add rules to the Bible and then apply them to your life. I sure did, and have that natural tendency of wanting to add stuff to scripture and then kind of like force myself to live by it. The cutest areas that I've done this in over the past is specifically when it comes to my thoughts and ideas about being a wife, being a mom, and then also working. I added tons to scripture about what I could and couldn't do. And now thinking about it, I'm like, I just pulled this stuff out of nowhere. This actually wasn't in the Bible. For whatever reason, I used to have this idea that the woman couldn't really help in the financial department. She just was like about the kids, about the home, but finances just weren't her thing. And now when I look at scripture, I see, wow, like the Proverbs 31 woman totally puts like God and her family first, but she also does that by being financially savvy and by just being epic in this way. And that's one of the reasons I started She Works Smart, is to help women prioritize their family, but also bring in extra income. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to start selling a digital product. So just drop the fire emoji if you want to get started.
Okay. Not to be rude, but did you come to this realization before or after you and your sister wrote multiple books about Christian womanhood? Love my books on womanhood. Thankfully, I did a lot of this work before writing them. Fire emoji, fire emoji. I don't think introspection is something Bethy is capable of, so... or willing to do. Bye. Quick dog break, quick dog break. Oh, dog, 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 dog. What do you think? What do you think of purity culture, Siggy? Your silence is deafening, Siggy. There's even moments where they turn it back around on their audience. Can you believe that, Siggy?
Women have kind of given themselves this reputation, and you see it all over the internet, of just being like less desiring. And I think we just are perpetuating that problem by giving into it, rather than going like, no, naturally I might not feel like I'm desiring, but I can change that, and I'm going to do what it takes to heal my hormones and, you know, think differently so that I can become a really sensual, erotic woman.
If you do this, God will give you this. And it's almost like purity culture in some ways viewed God as a vending machine.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Put your purity ring on, obey God, follow these rules, and everything will go well with you. Yeah. And what it ended up doing, and for so many of us, is it kind of placed us at the center of our worship, and almost like striving for purity in a pharisaical, self-righteous kind of way. Like, if I do this, I will be holy and godly, and then I will reap all the rewards. And sex will be my reward in marriage.
Yeah. Manage your expectations.
If he is a God-fearing man and you're not attracted to him, I would begin to ask God to search your heart. Like, Lord, why am I not attracted to what you find attractive? God, why don't I look at what you look at? You know, why am I looking for a six-pack? Or you know, an MD, a medical degree, or why do I value these worldly things, dimples or whatever? How do I find attractive, God, what you find attractive?
Shame, blame, and then repeat. Also, it really irks me how she promotes this culture where sex outside of marriage, Christian marriage, is bad. You must save it for your spouse or you're sexually broken. So people rush to get married or do it way too young. Then she acts surprised when a lot of women around her don't like their husbands. Your sister even admitted to not being attracted to her husband when they were getting married.
I remember when you were walking down the aisle to Zach and you whispered over to me and you were like, I'm not attracted to him, but I'm going for it.
Here I go. And it's frustrating because what a lot of them don't realize is that I actually wrote a book, Sex, Purity, and the Longings of a Girl's Heart, discovering the beauty and freedom of God.
Jen has the book, everyone. Jen does her reading. Jen does not skip any of the reading for class. You have that? How did you get it?
I have a different one.
You didn't pay for it, I hope. Or at least,
No, I got this from thrift books.
Phew.
This one's special because a real fundy girl like filled it out.
Incredible. She's trying to sell her book for a bit, blah, 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 blah.
That's so funny. I did not expect her to pull her book out.
Yeah, oy vey.
Publishing.
Yeah, all this God-defined sex stuff, gang, this is just fucking fascism. It is literally just to say, I say fertility cult. And when you look up fertility cult, you're gonna find like doing religious rites so that the crops grow or whatever. But I mean, fertility cult is in like they get to decide who gets to reproduce with who, and only if they approve your marriage. And only within the context of correct Christian practice is sex okay. Now, gang, what I just said makes me want to punch an atheist in the face. What? Yes. Think about what I just said. Christians are fascists who literally want to create a world in which only Christians who have the right doctrine are okay to have sex. And what does that make me want to do? Punch an atheist in the face. Now, why would that make me want to punch an atheist in the face? Because I am so sick of atheists bragging to me about how well they get along with fucking fascists. Oh, me and my Christian basketball buddies, oh, we just get along so well. They just think I'm the most wonderful person. They're just so great. We just all get along. Nigga, they think you're fucking wonderful because you won't challenge them about being fucking fascist. It is time for us to get real. These motherfuckers literally think they're the only ones who should be able to fuck without repercussions. Please tell me why I should celebrate you getting along with people like this. Fuck these people. Fuck these people. Fuck out of here.
Process is extremely long, so I wrote this while I was single. Then I started dating and got engaged, and I ended up getting married, and so my name changed. I eventually moved on to Beal instead of Baird. But when I was writing this book,
yeah, exactly. Happy Pride Month. Go fuck yourself, Trent fans.
I wish people would pick up this book and actually read what I had to say about sex before.
Bethy, we don't have to read your whole fucking book to say that you're a hypocrite.
Yeah. They view Girl Defined, or they view me as being like, I don't even know what sex is. Don't talk about sex. Don't think about sex.
We just watched you do that in a reel.
Bethy, you said you wouldn't kiss before marriage, which is fine, like, if that's your personal boundary, but you said it was because, like, it would lead to other things. You used the slippery slope fallacy.
You know, like, and then I get married and all the time I'm like, sex is great, sex is awesome, woohoo, you know, and like party. And that's just simply not the case. I have been a huge proponent and a huge fan of God's good design for sex. And for us as married, single.
Again, you have not established that there is a God to design sex. And again, you are ignoring the obvious. Gang, can you tell me that Christians don't understand how deeply sexual reproduction predates humans? So like, is Sam only allowed to get his smash on if him and whatever female dog he starts humping are married? Like, gang, this is just they're just immature. Like I don't know. Listen, I get it. Christians are privileged, and you know what happens to privileged people? They're nice. They wear nice clothes, they smile, they say friendly things, they shake hands, they know how to order off of a fucking menu and which fork to use. I don't know. But this is just crazy insane. And I just don't think, listen, I think at the end of the day, we really need to have an organized, public, mass media endorsed pushback against Christianity. And to be honest with you, I'm not super optimistic about it. Well, one, I don't think it's going to happen. But two, I just think, gang, if you think about all the racism we still see, all the misogyny we still see, all the fucked up ass shit that's going on against the LGBTQ community, right? Like, we're trying to create a world in which it's okay to have tuck-friendly swimwear at Target, right? Like, we're trying to create a world in which, you know, a primarily black district in a major city has its judges elected by the primarily black voters that live in that district, not the Republican governor, because somehow it's okay to take away the self-autonomy of only the conspicuously black counties. Like, I you know, that's what we're trying to get. But gang, what we need is a world in which we go after Christianity, where we actually explicitly try to take God out of politics, where we explicitly try to take God out of sports, out of the news, where we actually tell children, you probably shouldn't believe this fairy tale to be true. Can you imagine what the backlash would be? I mean, these conservatives, again, they're losing their minds over tuck-friendly swimsuits, poems written by black girls, trans students running in middle school races. Can you imagine if we were like, no, we're actually coming for God. No, yeah, we actually think God's not. Yeah, we actually think people. Nah, we actually really, really think that it's time to end the intersectionality of Christianity in public life. These people gonna lose their goddamn minds. But guess what, gang? That's their fucking problem. That's exactly what we need.
Any woman in any stage understanding the purpose of sex, the purpose for intimacy, getting to the bigger reason for why God created it, which is why Kristen and I wrote Sex, Purity, and the Longings of a Girl's Heart.
I don't want to pay for her course or nothing, but I am.
Yeah, so Joe Biden had like a black girl read a poem during his inauguration, and one of these fuckface states, I think it was Florida or whatever, like had it like banned from their schools or whatever. It's just fucking ridiculous.
Curious of the actual,
but yes, really black poems.
She's like, on one hand, she's like,
Yes.
only do biblical.
Actually,
why
no.
are you obsessed with rules? Do what's best for you. What are you telling us? What sex tips are you giving us, please?
How does she marry those 2 points? Because they are in conflict with each other.
Oh, sex is great once in the confines of marriage, / you can still be addicted to masturbation when you're married.
Exactly. It's just...
And then she's like, oh no, it's not a free-for-all. There's still rules. But then she'll say, well, why are we obsessed with these rules?
It's crazy, yeah. It's ridiculous, man.
Find it in the Bible.
Honestly, like you couldn't even write this shit. If you wrote a Hollywood movie where, you know, there was supposed to be some racist ass politician who was like secretly dog whistling the KKK, and what they did was they banned a particular author's work from a school because they were black, you would reject that script. You'd be like, get the fuck out of here. Nobody could do that shit. This is just not realistic. Come on. We're trying to sell a fucking movie here, man. We need realistic plot points of things that can happen in real life. It's 2023. It's 2023. No, racists are subtle. They're underground. They're fucking nuanced with their shit. It's fucking you ruin the whole, you take people out of the fucking movie if he just fucking bans fucking poems because it was written by the black girl. That's come on, that's fucking ridiculous. But that's the world we live in. You literally cannot write this shit in a Hollywood script because it would sound too ridiculous.
Important to note that we're mainly talking about Bethy here. We've barely touched upon Kristen.
She's not off the hook, though.
She's not off the hook. No. She's still gloriously transphobic and bigoted, and we're not fans. However, and this is because you know more about this pairing than I do. Why do you think that is? Why do you think Bethy's focus has gone on sex, and what do you make of that?
Oh, well, that's easy. Kristen got married 10 years ago, and Bethy just recently got married. So I really think that's the only difference.
Oh, yeah, Spider, can you speak up? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can I say something really
quick?
Sure. I wanted to say that this whole, sex thing, you keep mentioning Christianity. I know you know that. I'm just saying that this is all religions. All religions try to control your sex. And when someone's controlling your penis and vagina, they're controlling your life. And this is just another control system of the people.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
It's coming from the people, and it's kind of a self-driven engine. I don't know exactly how to describe it.
Yeah, like it's
coming
very,
from
it's
inside.
hard.
It's kind of circular.
Right. Like they're doing it to themselves, so it's hard to stop them.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And one last sentence. There's an amazing book called God and Sex, how Christianity distorts sexuality. It was written, I forgot the name of the person who wrote it. He was a psychologist, and he dealt with a lot of preachers. An amazing thing that he says in the book, he says, when they came to me with their congregation questions, it felt like I'm talking to a 13-year-old. Right? Their knowledge of sex, sexuality, what is allowed, when, with who, and all that, like their knowledge is on the floor. They don't know shit. It's a very depressing book, but I highly recommend it, called God and Sex.
I tried to drop the link there in the chat. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It's really sad. And the thing is, I don't think we as a broader society are being honest about it. I think it's largely because still so many people are religious, right? Be it one of the Abrahamic faiths or any other conservative religion. So it's kind of hard because it becomes easier to talk about problems with a particular group when you don't think they're in the room. And given how many people are religious, they're kind of always around. And also for most of us, a lot of us, we have conservative religious influences in our family, in our friend group. But I think if we were to truly think with a secular mindset, sex has to be near the top of the list in terms of the type of needs and areas in which people need to be autonomous. And, given what you said, and you're absolutely right that it's applies to religions more broadly, I think at some point we'd have to have a broader conversation about why religions are problematic. And I think we're in a phase with religion where those of us that are kind of out of it just kind of want to safely be out of it. We haven't really figured out how to turn our attention to stopping it. But I think sexual repression could be one of the prime motivations, and especially important to talk about during Pride Month, because most of those issues revolve around the perception of someone's sexuality or their identity, their orientation. So sex is on the table when we're talking about those issues. I appreciate it, Spider. Did you want to say anything else before I go back to the tape?
No, I'll continue. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, anytime. Thanks for popping in, Gather. Let me switch which screen I'm sharing real quick, and good to go.
Exciting for her. Not saying it isn't.
Well, it's like a new, shiny new thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
I'm sure Kristen and what's her husband's name? Zach. I'm sure they've had problems like everybody else, but yeah, they're not talking about it. I also think that Bethy is one of those there are certain people in life that just love to share.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like even if she would just worked a regular job, she would be sharing every single thing.
She'd be telling her co-workers about the whipped cream.
Yeah, but she's telling us.
What's something you do the other people find disgusting?
We share a toothbrush.
You two will share a toothbrush but not trust each other to speak to someone of the opposite sex.
When Dave and I got married, we decided that we were no longer going to maintain close friendships just individually, like me with a man and him with a woman. If we were gonna have those friendships, it was gonna be now both of us friends with that person, not just me having like this close friendship with a guy. We have a specific
This is so gross and weird, and and this is coming from somebody who's like, I don't know, I have my own insecurities that have been fucked over before, and I do understand, you know that there's a natural insecurity that can come, especially if you feel like your partner has an inappropriate relationship with someone who's like closer to you, and there's like something going on there, like that happens, and it's unfortunate. But again, this is really seriously dark shit. It's very abusive. It's very it's immoral, right? Here's the deal. Oh God, I didn't think we were gonna go here. But part of my struggle with all of this, and by all of this I mean the religion, the politics, all of the things that we discuss on this channel, is I often feel compelled to really directly oppose things, and I'm coming to a place where I don't care if it's what a person chooses or not, because I don't think the choices people make under coercion are valid choices. Right? So I'm kind of thinking of it like, imagine I get Stockholm syndrome. The fucking right-wingers in Michigan, they fucking successfully kidnap Gretchen Whitmer. All of the Democrats are like totally fucking shook. The fucking so they just stay home. They're like, we're not even participating in the government anymore because they kidnapped the governor and nobody did a goddamn thing. So the right wingers take over. They're like, fuck it, mask off. We're bringing back slavery, right? And I get lucky because, you know, they're like, black people who live in conspicuously, you know, around enough white people, like you just become the slave of your neighbor. And I like my neighbors. My neighbors are really nice people. And so I'm all like, yeah, you know, it's cool. Like, you know, master lets me like have usage of my own little place or whatever. And I'm just like totally into it. And I'm like, yeah, gang, no, this is what I want to do. Like, I'm cool. It's my own thing or whatever. This example doesn't work because I already fucked it up by saying it was slavery. But anyway, let's just pretend I had the choice. Like, no, y'all have to fucking free my black ass. Y'all gotta like come get me. Like, you can't let me choose to be in some fucked up ass situation just because I don't know any better or I'm like powerless to do different. You see what I'm saying? Like when somebody's been indoctrinated, again, while they were soft in the head, to have all these fucked up ass ideas, and then they get married, they're like, well, no, I think it's wonderful that I can't be friends with any men ever other than my husband unless we're both friends. Like, again, like, I'm not saying you have to have like a relationship with somebody that makes your husband insecure, but like, I'm not okay with you like not being able to just grab lunch with like a male colleague and kick it about life without your husband being present. Like, I don't know, gang, this is what I'm saying. I don't want to go into, but how much can we let people choose fucked up courses of action for themselves when they're making them choices under coercion? Gang, and what would we consider coercion? Y'all know we would consider cults fucking coercion. You know, we think of cults as like inherently coercive organizations that make people do fucked up shit. See, it's fucking complicated. That's why we're just roll the tape.
That we do not
we're never alone with the opposite sex in a room or in a car. Or
Oh
something
my
like that. So
goodness.
we always keep it like group oriented.
Or watch sex scenes alone or together. So yeah, they're actually still very conservative about sexuality and marriage.
If for some reason somebody's like reaching out, wanting to have a kid, love to get advice on something, or can we talk about this? Whether it's a guy or a girl, Dave and I always make sure to loop it into being all, you know, the three of us. We might just say like, yeah, we would love to chat about this, and all of a sudden it's a text back with all of us in the conversation.
My question to you, Jen, is that would you call what's happening here a rebrand?
I don't know, because it is all kind of in the same genre that they've been doing. Back in the day, they didn't talk about like orgasms and stuff. It was very, 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 very pure. And I'm also wondering if they're like, you know, speaking of the monetization thing, like, yes, she's got her courses, but also like, you can't beat the search engine optimization of having sex in the title. There's nothing that will get you clicks faster. So I'm wondering if they're enjoying that.
Yeah, Dave, that's usually how I am. My phone's like not even locked in. Like, if it was ever going to be an issue, then I'm definitely just not with the right person.
And the notoriety that's coming with it. And, you know, I'm sure it's given her a little boost in her step, being like, ooh, I got a BuzzFeed article about me.
Perhaps calling it a rebrand is a bit of a stretch. Perhaps it's more about optics, because their message is still fundamentally sex negative. Bethy wants to reap the benefits of sexual freedom and sex positivity, while still feeling that everything she taught and went through up till marriage was worth it.
I see it on this side and the benefits and the value and the fact that God didn't lie to me when he told me that this was good.
I think that the only thing I would go back and do differently is really strive to gain even a more biblical perspective that would have penetrated my heart more, because I think when you're younger, you're like, okay, it can be a little bit more about the rules because you don't take the time to really strive to understand, why did God, this amazing good father, put these boundaries there for me. So I think if I could have better understood that as like an early single, late teen, whatever, I think that would have been even more helpful and given me just more of a gratefulness to God for creating this amazing, like creating sex and putting it within the context of marriage. I feel like I understood that a lot right before we got married, but I would have liked to understand that.
This is like so tough for me too, because I just feel this, and you know, like I took this messaging, like one of the things that was kind of eye-opening for me about being an atheist was thinking about how important having a Christian partner is to my mom. And I know it's gonna sound super weird, but I think y'all see where I'm going with this. I think like a very basic barometer for like, and this is maybe it's just in my head, but like a basic barometer for like a mom of like, are you raising a good kid, is like, do you think your kid would make a great partner, right? So if you're in my case, like if you're my parent, like, you know, like trust me, if my dad meets like an attractive like thing that's like my type, you know what I'm saying, and or like one of his peers is like, oh my goodness, I can't find someone for my daughter, you know, she's like sounds like she's my type or whatever. Trust me, my dad's gonna be like, oh yeah, well, you know, my son's fucking amazing, like, you know, he's single, you know, but you know, he's woof. You can talk about a great guy. I don't know, right? Like he's gonna be my cheerleader. He's gonna try to get my name in the hat, right? And I realized that like I don't think my mom can say that, right? Because the messaging she's always sent me is like her shit was all types of fucked up anytime she didn't put a man's godliness first and foremost. And, you know, to get real serious, a man has to be serious about his relationship with the Lord. So I really like internalized that. Like, so basically you're telling me you don't think I'm the type of man someone should marry. Like you're basically saying I'm not marriage material because Jesus isn't the head of my life. Ouch. Like kind of stings. I'm not gonna lie. like, you know, and like it is what it is. And you know, it's weird too, because like I tried that's part of why I like swore off dating Christian women, right? Because I was like, that's what's gonna happen, is like, you know, the whole unequally yoked and whatever. And I've actually like gone against that, like when I found myself like you know, in a situation with someone who I thought it made sense. Like, and I don't want to like, it wasn't a hard and fast rule from my side of things. It was just more like, I don't think a Christian woman can really pull the trigger on a guy like me at the end of the day. And so I try to save myself from that. But my point is, like, when I tried to like relax that, and it was definitely like the right situation to do so, the whole fucking purity culture thing like bit us in the ass, and became a real thing where like that person like couldn't see themselves with me, despite how obvious it was, because I wasn't a Christian, and that fucking hurt. And it was like, oh yeah, this is why I don't do this. You know what I mean? It's like weird. It hurts even more when you're like, this is probably how this is going to end. And then you're like, no, I should be the bigger person and, you know, be open-minded to being with a person in spite of their faith. And then it comes back to bite you in the ass. It kind of really stings. But yeah, but this is what I mean. It's like, people take this shit seriously. And it makes sense. Like I don't even mind. Like again, like it pisses me more off that as atheists we're not honest about these things, that we're not having stronger messaging about these things. But it makes sense to me from their perspective, like, you know, like, but it sucks. It sucks because I don't know any way around it being a form of discrimination. I don't see it. I don't know how to see it as anything other than real Christians literally think atheists are unworthy of, you know, that type of love. And I don't know how we're not second-class citizens to them, y'all. I think we are.
They don't want to acknowledge the damage that this messaging has done. In this video, I've mainly talked about sexual activity as a general thing, but it's important to reiterate that purity culture has been responsible for institutional sexual abuse and silencing and shaming of victims. In fact, very recently, Bethy
that's
had
where I
some
think I'm at too, Lena.
therapists on her podcasts who made some very disturbing admissions involving...
I think it's like a process, you know? It's like at first for me, it was like a really hard no forever. And then it was like, I should reevaluate that. And then it was like, okay, I reevaluated that, right back to hard no forever.
Under the guise of sex education. I mean, it's truly disturbing, and it's no wonder she took down that episode stat. Jen actually covers the situation in full on her latest video on Girl Defined.
That's a great point,
But
Carrie
since
Ann.
that's extremely heavy and has already been covered really well by my friend Jen, I just want to go back to the general sex messaging behind Girl Defined's ministry. You can enjoy sex, just under very specific circumstances. The benefits that come from sex are not permitted if you're gay, trans, unmarried, non-monogamous, a sex worker. Oh, speaking of, Kristen had the audacity to make an Instagram reel about OnlyFans, dancing to an instrumental of Dynamite by BTS. It's now my turn to gatekeep. You are not ARMY, Kristen. BTS are for the sapphics, and you want to convert us, so BTS is not for you to enjoy. Anyways, what was I saying? Basically, their fundamental beliefs are still very much the same. Bethy just wants to move the goalpost slightly in order to suit her. There's no real desire to fix purity culture as a whole.
Another thing that I think of is that, you know, we can look on at purity culture or the purity movement tones in a lot of these books and we say, wow, I do not like the way that you said that, or I do not like the way that you presented purity or the way that you presented this idea of relationships. And because we don't like their tone or the way someone is presenting something, we say, well, I'm going to kind of ditch the whole biblical model behind that because I don't like the way that you're talking. And so I think instead of saying, okay, I don't really like the way that you're talking, so I'm going to ditch everything, look a little deeper and say, is there any truth? Is there anything that should be held on to? Should I take anything that actually comes from the Bible with me and leave the other stuff behind? But sadly, I think a lot of us, it's like, well, we didn't like the tone, we didn't like what was being said, so we're kind of like, I'm going to ditch
Throwing
it all,
everything out.
rather than looking to God's word and saying, okay, was there anything biblical? Was there any doctrine, any theological?
Is there anything in there?
Yeah, because if they
Holy
were to
shit.
truly challenge how they were brought up, that would mean having to interrogate their whole ideology, and well, we can't have that, can we? Where do you think they'll be down the line, maybe 5 years down the line? Do you still think they'll be doing this?
Absolutely.
Oh,
I don't think
yeah?
they're going anywhere soon. Kristen might fuck off. I feel like she might like go do something else and never speak to Bethy again. But
I mean,
they're already getting the next generation going. Like they do videos with their younger sisters all the time.
Right, so there might be a takeover, they might be passing the torch. And also, you've said this, Trixie Mattel has said this. They don't seem to always get along very well.
No. They have an active like animosity towards each other.
You got married young. You didn't have as many first date opportunities. Young compared to me. I had a first date with Zach. I, along with you, have created a mentorship course. I think me and my husband would both agree. Like we've had a really great, intimate life.
Should we bring him in to verify that?
Like that. He wouldn't like that. When I was young, I was really like I wanted to stay home and not be around people very much. So
You were very, very
like
scared
timid
of
and
people.
nervous.
I
And
actually bought a wedding dress when she was wedding dress shopping because I found one that I loved.
at the store I was shopping at for my dress.
And I actually bought one.
Oh, my
That's how
goodness.
confident I was that I would probably be getting married like very soon after that, like a year or two, because it was like
I don't know how that's going to bode well, making content.
Oh wow,
Well,
those
I thought that
that's some
having
pretty
babies
deep
would
cuts.
slow her down, but it didn't. So I mean, they could go on
Yikes.
forever. Even just doing reactionary stuff, like whatever the topic of the day is, they'll make videos about it. And then there's also like secular culture has already found out about them and like makes fun of them. So I feel like they're in the zeitgeist and they're not going to leave.
I just can't get that image of the whipped cream out of my head. It's
That's not
gonna haunt
even
me.
how I would do that.
You're doing it wrong. You do not have all the answers.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Jen, for your time. I think it's important to
Been a
point
pleasure.
out. Yeah, it's important to point out that Jen, at a very similar time, will be releasing a part 4 on Girl Defined. So make sure to check that out as soon as you're done watching this.
Yes, this is a companion video, I guess.
Exactly. And check out Jen's channel if you haven't already. If you haven't, then you're a loser.
Pretty much. Well, it's been you always just brighten my day, and you're just such a blessing to my life. And I'm so glad that you asked me to do this video with you.
Jen, stop. Oh, and congrats on being made into an honest woman.
Finally, now I can take Bethy's sex course.
Oh, right. Shall we do the bye-bye?
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you, Jen, and all the pets, all the many pets that have jumped into frame
Mhm.
during this filming process. And yeah, let's say goodbye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And thank you for watching the video. Make sure to go check out Jen.
All right, that was fun. All right, gang. To wrap this thing up, let's just say this. Christians, please go fuck yourself. There's absolutely no reason under the sun to take a Christian masterclass on sex other than the lulz or to make content tearing it apart. And I commend anybody who can do that, because I don't think I can get through it. I literally don't think I can get through it. It's all too awful. It's just too awful. It's too awful. But in really seriously, like this whole biblical perspective on sex, like I hope y'all see it. It's just really weird. It has nothing to do. It's literally just about sex before marriage is awful and terrible. Remain pure of don't fuck, don't make out, don't round any of the bases. Don't even fantasize or masturbate or any of that. Oh, but man, once God ordains you, once Jesus is the reason for the season, oh man, you are going to love getting your freak on. Then it's just all about expression and satisfaction, and it's so wonderful, and you're going to be, swapping whipped cream and chocolate sprinkles with closed mouth kisses on Instagram in no time. And then it's all wrapped up in this weird the master class and the shilling of the digital goods, digital products. It's and I wouldn't care so much if it was just like a, like an honest approach to like, like people who offer master classes or courses and stuff like that as a thing people can buy, right? There's nothing wrong with doing that unless you're an insufferable grifter who is doing all of that about a subject you have absolutely nothing to offer other than more indoctrination. So yeah, it's just god awful. But that was fun to review. I was definitely an interesting character art there for girl to find. It's so awkward. It is really awkward because it just does have that vibe of guess who's getting laid now. So creepy. Oh man. All right, gang. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. So glad you showed up. I don't know what's going on with the stream right now. We're gonna hang out and gather. We've been watching Secession on Max and Relax time. It's been super fun. There's a game tonight, and we've just been playing a lot of games and hanging out and doing all sorts of stuff. But I'm moving on Friday, so I may or may not stream tomorrow because I actually have to disassemble the studio and pack it up. And but yeah, so if you guys don't see a stream for a couple of days, it's just because I'm moving, and hopefully this weekend, like I said, I move on Friday, so hopefully this weekend I'll get things set back up, and we'll get back to streaming. But and I may have to. I might have to use Gather on my mobile device, but I really appreciate it if you guys could hold things down and Gather for a few days, make sure, just make sure people are around and, reach out if something, if there's an issue. But yeah, thanks so much, everybody, and I'll definitely see you guys soon. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. And